Hello viewers, hope you're doing well. Today in this video, I'm going to create post book to cart API in our Node.js application. So let's get started. So I'm going to copy the code from book service of the customer. Let me copy this. Let me add inside the cart service. First, I'm going to update the function name that we have, add book to cart. So it will be a async function. Inside the argument, it will get a user and book ID. Inside this function, first I'm going to get an order by user and order status. So let me call here the model that we have order and the query that we have find one. Inside this, let me define the parameters that we have user. On the place of value, let me pass it the user ID. After the user ID, the second parameter that we have order status. The order status that we have pending. We have to get cart item as well with an order. So the query that we have populate. Inside this, let me define the parameter that we have cart item. So it will be a await. On the left side of this, let me initialize a variable that we have active order. After getting it, let me add the if condition where we have to check if active order not found. Then we have to return the response where we have a status 404. The message that we have active order not found. If active order found, then I'm going to match this book ID with cart item books. So let me add the if condition inside this. Let me call here active order dot cart item dot sum. Inside this, let me define the predicate that we have item. So we have to get a book from item. Let me convert this book to string, and we have to match this with book ID. If it's true, then we have to return the response where we have a status 409 conflict. The message that we have book already exists in cart. After validating it, let me call here the JavaScript function that we have promise.all. Inside this, let me call here the model that we have book, the query that we have find by ID. Inside the argument of this, let me pass here a book ID. After that, let me call here the model that we have user, the query that we have find by ID. Inside the argument of this, let me pass here a user ID. Actually, it will be a comma. So it will be a await. On the left side of this, let me initialize a variables that we have book and user. After retrieving these, I'm going to add a if condition where we have to check if book or user not found. Then we have to return the response where we have a status 404. The message that we have book or user not found. After that, I'm going to create and save cart item. Let me import this manually. After importing it, we have to pass here a user, book and the order object. With this, we have to set the price and the quantity. So first, let me pass here the order that we have, active order. After that, let me pass here the user object. After the user, let me pass here a book object. After that, I'm going to set the price that we have, book.price. After the price, let me set here the quantity that we have 1. So it will be a weight. On the left side of this, let me initialize a variable that we have saved cart item. After the object, let me call here the query that we have saved to create the new document in MongoDB. After creating it, I'm going to update cart item and amount field inside the order model. As you can see, the array that we have cart item. The second field that we have to update amount. First, I'm going to update amount. We have to add here book.price. After that, I'm going to add this cart item to an array. So let me call it the JS function that we have push. Inside this, let me pass it the object that we have saved cart item. At the last, we have to save the changes. So it will be a active order dot save, and it will be a await. Let me return here the response where we have a status 201. The message that we have book added to cart successfully. Let me export this function. Now you can take a look of cart service. After that, let me copy the code from book controller of the customer. So let me copy this. Let me add inside cart controller. After that, let me copy the import. Let me add on the top of cart controller. So here we have to import cart service. From cart service, we have to import function that we have, add book to cart. After importing it, I'm going to update this function where we have a function name post book to cart. So it will be a async function. Inside the argument, it has callback parameters that we have request and response. Inside this function, we have the try and the catch block. The catch block will catch an exception in case of API failing. So we have to return the response where we have a status 500 with an error message in the form of a JSON. Inside the try block, we have to call the function from cart service that we have, add book to cart. Inside the argument of this function, we have to pass here a user and the book ID. So I'm going to extract user and book ID from request body. After extracting these, let me pass inside the argument of the add book to cart function. So we have to export this function. After that, I'm going to copy the code from book route of the customer. Let me add inside cart route. So as you can see, the import of the express. After that, we have the instance of the router. After the instance, we have the import of auth middleware. After that, let me import here cart controller. From this, let me import the function that we have post book to cart. After the imports, we have a route with a mapping post the URL that we have slash. After the URL, we have few middlewares. The first middleware that we have authenticate JWT. The second that we have authorize role that we have customer. After these, let me call the function from cart controller that we have post book to cart. We have to export a router. Now after that, let me open here app.js. So on the top, let me import cart route. After that, let me initialize a cart route. So it will be a app.use. Inside this, first I'm going to define the prefix path that we have slash API slash customer slash cart, and we have to navigate the request to a customer cart route. Now you can see the flow of cart route. From this route, we are calling the function from cart controller that we have post book to cart. From this function, we are calling the function from cart service that we have add book to cart. And this is the implementation of add book to cart function. So let's navigate to the Postman and let's test the API. Let me generate the JWT of the customer. Let me copy this token. Let's go to the third tab. Let me add the token into this input. Now as you can see, the path of the API that we have slash API slash customer slash cart mapping that we have post. Let's go to the body tab. As you can see, the request payload of the API where we have a user and book ID in the form of a JSON. So I'm going to get user and book ID from MongoDB. Let me copy this. Let me add here. After that, let me copy a book ID. Let me add inside the codes. Now let's click on the send button. As you can see, the status we got 500 internal server error. The error that we have, object is not iterable. Let me check what is the issue. Let me complete the spelling of the price. After that, let me open here an order model. As you can see, the field that we have cart item where we have a reference order. Let me update this that we have cart item. This is a relation field with cart item model. After an order model, let me verify other files. Quickly, these are the curly braces. Let me update these. After that, let me update the variable name that we have response that will hold the response of this method. After getting the response, let me return the response where we have a status response.status and the data in the form of a JSON. So it will be a response.data. Now let's go to the cart service. Let me verify this implementation. Now let's go to the Postman. Let's click on the send button again. As you can see, the status we got 201 created. With this, we are getting here the response book added to cart successfully. You can update the format of this message. So let's go to the cart controller. As you can see, response.data. Let me wrap this inside object. So the key that we have message and the value that we have response.data. Let's call the API again. As you can see, the message in the form of a JSON that we have book already exists in cart. Let me add a new book. So let me copy an ID of this book. Let me add here. Now let's click on the send button. As you can see, the status we got 201 with a message in the form of a JSON that we have book added to cart successfully. Now let me open here a MongoDB Compass. Let's go to the order model. Let me refresh this collection. As you can see, the amount and cart item array got updated. After that, let me refresh the cart item collection. As you can see, the created documents. So that's all for now from my side. If you have any confusion, you can document. Thanks for watching.